Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an IS. It's a Tier 7 Soviet heavy tank. It's located on the southeast spawn of Fjords and it's under the command of Fluffylilkitten of REBRN. Now, if he's got the top gun, he's got a Tier 7 122mm gun, the D25T, capable of 390 alpha, penetrating 217mm of armor with, well, actually it's not 217, it's 175mm with AP and 217 with the APCR. You can see Fluffy has rearranged the shells. He's put the premium rounds in the first slot and the standard rounds in the second. Yes, Fluffy likes to fire premium, and he burns a lot of credits in the process. Now, the IS was basically a modernisation of the KV series of tanks. It's named after Joseph Stalin. Now, you might think, why isn't J for Joseph pronounced with a J? So why isn't this the JS? Well, mainly because, and I think Fluffy's being a troll there because he's blocking the 3601, because in Russian, in Cyrillic, Joseph is spelt with an I. So Joseph is an I. Okay, well, he's reached this spot with a 7032. He's aiming for the cupola of the E75TS, but he's being trolled by the guy that he trolled earlier, the VK3601H. He's being pushed into the enemy, and he's pushing back because he doesn't want to suffer any damage from the enemy. And now he's pushing himself out of the way of the VK, but the VK is still trying to troll him. Now, I do understand that the VK3601 was trolled by Fluffy because he blocked him as he was making his way down to this area. But if you're trying to push your teammate out into the enemy, that is trolling. And you can see the VK is doing it again, and I'm afraid that means the VK is going to get added to our troll list for acting as a troll. He's pushing Fluffy out into enemy fire. And when you do that, you are a troll and you deserve to be treated as a troll by everyone else. There's no reason for you to do what you're doing. Fluffy's trying to get damage on the enemy, but all the VK's trying to do is damage him, or cause damage to him. Well, Fluffy's hasn't got a kill yet, but he has got already 738 hit points of damage. Now, he's managed to get away from that VK for the moment, who's trailing behind him, and they're chasing after a T20. He stopped to take a shot, fires one in, gets 424 off that one. Nope, can't get a name shot on that. The 7032's finished him off, but there are some enemy tanks around the corner. Now, what's the betting? The VK, who is just behind Fluffy, might try to push him out in front of the enemy again on this corner. Well, we'll have to see if that does happen. When this video was sent to me, it was sent to me for a specific reason, but I didn't realise that there was some trolling going on. And I have to say that Fluffy takes some of the blame for the trolling because he did block that VK right from the start. Well, he's not being pushed out by the VK. Not on this occasion. T-34-100, the constructor, that's the Czech medium. Puts a nice round into him for 344, but now he's going to go after the boogie. The T-25-2 up on this position. T-25-2 dies from one shot. The boogie bounces around off the IS, which has got a nicely rounded hull. That's one of the best things about the IS. It really is a lot better than the KV series. Okay, the VK3601H on the enemy team can't withstand the shell. He does get one into Fluffy, but he dies. And the budgie, well, he's about to suffer. Humiliating. And Fluffy finishes him off. So Fluffy's now got 2 kills. And he's moving on the enemy. There's only 3 enemies left. An SU-100, a Nashorn, and a Borsig. But the Borsig could be deadly. Although Fluffy hasn't lost that much in the way of hit points so far in this game, and he's done 2.7k already. He's really rocking it. Just a pity that he trolled that VK right at the start. Now, okay, that shot wasn't a good one, and he's now spotted a Nashorn off in the distance, so I think he's going to take careful aim at that guy. puts a shot in for him for 388, which is a low roll, but takes a round from the 88mm gun on that guy, and he's dead. So now he's going to push and see if he can get the ball sig. No, he can't, because the ball sig's dead. And that means there's only one enemy left. It's the SU-100. And we don't know where he is. And Fluffy decides to go over the cliff. And there's the SU-100. He's only got one hit point left. Only one. And we're having a great deal of difficulty trying to get him out of that position. Fluffy's going to try and get round the corner, see if he can shoot him in the ass. Bit more, bit more. That's it. That's it. Go for it. And he got it. So 3 kills for Fluffy, 4 kills for the 7032. And don't be a bad boy and block someone like that, because that encourages trolling. But the VK does have to go on the troll list, because he did try to push Fluffy out into enemy fire, and he should have known better than to do such a thing. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. It's a first ace tanker for Fluffylilkitten in the IS. You can tell it's the first because he's got the scrolls underneath the M, and you only get that once on the first occasion. Got a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points for his own vehicle, and he also managed to get a Confederate medal as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. Win 8 for the battle was 7,673, which is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at team score. He didn't get the highest damage in the game. That went to the 7032, who got a high caliber and steel wall for 3,232 hit points, but he was not far behind with 3,124 hit points of damage. And the next high score after that was in fact the TS5 with 1,705. When it came to kills, it was the 7032 again with 4 kills, 3 kills for Fluffy, 2 kills for the M4A3E2, the Super Jumbo, and also for the KV2. And when it came to base XP, it was the 703 again. He's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,335 for him, 1,296 went for the IS of Fluffy, and 729 went to the 53 TP, who also managed to get a Spartan medal in that game. Now, whilst we're on this page, we ought to check on this player here, islelife. He was blocked, but he did try to push Fluffy out, and of course if he's a good player, he should just take that on the chin and blacklist Fluffy from there on in, but not try and cause damage to him. That is his real name, islelife. He's got 2,619 battles and a win rating of 3860. But he needs to learn not to behave the way he did, because if he behaves that way, he's actually going to make a lot of enemies for pushing people out in front of the enemy guns and getting them killed, which is the same as team killing. So this guy does have to end up on the troll list, and we will include him in future in the troll mod, so that people know that this player does cause people to be killed by pushing them out into enemy fire. Getting back to the detail, we'll go to the detailed report. Fluffy fired 14 122mm rounds, got 11 direct hits and 10 penetrations, damage of 3,124 hit points, of which 388 were at more than 300 meters. 4 hits received, 2 were penetrations, 2 non-penetrations, and block damage of 480 hit points. He didn't lose that much in the way of hit points. Did take an 88mm round from the Nashorn, but apart from that, he was actually fairly okay. Even though he was being pushed out into enemy fire, the enemy chose not to fire at him on this occasion. 2 enemy vehicles were spotted, 10 enemy vehicles were damaged and 3 were killed, and 685 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium account, he earned 57,968 credits, but he did fire an awful lot of premium ammo, and that's very evident from the fact that after repair, ammunition costs and consumables, he made a massive loss of 51,483 credits. Yes, Fluffy, you've got to learn to play with standard AP, not with premium rounds all the time. I know the top players, the Unicums and Super Unicums, do play with premium ammo. They don't do so when they're in lower tier tanks. They learnt where to put the shells so that they do the most damage without firing premium. 25 bonds earned from the game, 1,944 XP, and no multipliers, so that's all the experience points he took away. Now, as for his behaviour at the start, yes, Fluffy, I think, was trying to get to the south corner first, because he had a 122mm gun on his tank, and the VK3601H did not. The VK would have had a great deal of difficulty trying to penetrate those enemy tanks. Fluffy was going to have less difficulty, of course, primarily because, of course, Fluffy knew that he was going to be carrying lots of premium ammo. I'd say that his behaviour with the VK brought about the trolling in the end. And so don't try to block people, don't push people to one side and do what you did, because you're only going to make a lot of enemies if you do. It might have been better if you let the VK go through the gap, let him get killed, and then use his body to then get the enemy. But if you try to block someone the way you did, then you're just going to encourage more trolling against you. So Fluffy, do not do that. That was a very bad thing for you to do, to block the VK the way you did, and it caused all the trouble that happened afterwards. So if you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.